Do you keep hearing that carbs are the enemy or that pairing them with fat will magically protect your blood sugar? Well, here's the truth. For many people with insulin resistance, that advice can backfire. It's not just the sugar that's the problem, it's the wrong mix of foods, especially refined carbs and processed fats together. Now that can keep your blood sugar higher, your insulin working overtime, and your energy stuck on the roller coaster. Hi, I'm Sonia Hollis, a qualified nutritional therapist, and today we're going to be breaking down the 7 evidence-based ways to improve insulin sensitivity naturally without the crash diets, magic pills, or fear-mongering about carbs. We'll cover the real science behind fat-carb combinations, which foods and patterns quietly sabotage your blood sugar, the simple swaps and lifestyle changes that can work fast, and how supplements like berberine, apple cider vinegar can fit into the bigger picture. If you haven't seen my videos on apple cider vinegar or how to stop sugar cravings, those will go deeper into some of today's tips, and I'll link them in the description below. Alright, let's get started. Blood sugar is the last thing to go wrong. Years before your fasting glucose or A1C rise, your insulin levels may already be high because your body's been pushed to store more energy than it can handle. Now, earlier on, this is hyperinsulinemia, your pancreas pumping out extra insulin to move glucose into your cells. Over time, the cells say, come on, that's enough, and they stop responding as well. And this is known as insulin resistance. So here's the thing. Research shows that high fat and high carb meals, especially from ultra-processed foods, often create a higher and longer post-meal glucose rise than carbs alone. Now, the fat slows early glucose clearance but can keep levels elevated for hours, increasing the insulin needed to bring them back down. It's not about villainising certain foods, it's the patterns that matter. So common culprits include refined carbohydrates and processed fats together. So think about pastries, pizzas, biscuits, chips, creamy pasta dishes. Sugar sweetened drinks, especially those high in fructose, which can overload the liver and promote fatty liver disease. And daily processed meats with refined starches, like ham and cheese sandwiches, burgers with white buns. Even in people with type 1 diabetes who carefully match insulin doses to carbs, research has shown that adding a lot of fat to a carb-heavy meal keeps the blood sugar higher for longer and increases the insulin that's needed to control it. So that's a powerful reminder for those with insulin resistance too. Large amounts of fat with refined carbs can keep your blood sugar and insulin levels elevated for hours. The best meals for improving insulin sensitivity share 3 features. We've got our protein content. So aim for roughly 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal to help to stabilise your appetite, support muscle and slow the glucose rise. Now I go into more detail in this protein video here, so please do take a look. We've got high fibre carbs. Whole fruits, vegetables, beans, lentils and intact whole grains. These slow digestion, feed your gut microbiome and improve post-meal glucose. And lastly, healthy fat in moderation. So think of your nuts, seeds, avocados and oily fish. Keep added oils and processed fats low, especially when paired with starchy carbs. Now, one easy way to keep this in balance is by using the half, quarter, quarter rule in your plate that we've talked about in other videos. So, fill half your plate with non-starchy vegetables for fibre and nutrients. Fill a quarter with lean protein to stabilise your blood sugar and support muscle. And fill the last quarter with high fibre carbs like quinoa, beans or sweet potato. And then after that, add a portion of healthy fat like a drizzle of olive oil or a few nuts. This stops the carb-fat combination from getting out of hand, keeps insulin demand lower, and helps you feel satisfied without the energy crashes. Now, when you eat can just be as important as what you eat. So front load your calories to earlier in the day. Studies have shown better glucose control with an earlier eating window. Avoid eating within 3 to 4 hours before bedtime to give insulin a chance to fall overnight. And lastly, move after meals. Even 10 to 15 minutes of walking can cut the post-meal glucose rise in half. And a few squats or even light resistance work can help too. Simple food swaps can also help. So swap white bread for whole grain or sprouted grain, topped with avocado and tomatoes instead of cheese and butter. Replace creamy pasta sauces with cashew or bean-based sauces plus vegetables. Make pizza on a whole grain or veggie-based crust. Go lighter on the cheese and pile on colourful veg. And for a sweet craving, pair fruit with nuts or yogurt rather than pastries or biscuits. Now, food and lifestyle changes are always the foundation, but for some people, the right supplements can give that extra nudge to improve insulin sensitivity. A few that have been studied include apple cider vinegar. Now, studies have shown that it can help to lower post-meal blood glucose by reducing the liver glucose output and improving glucose uptake into the muscles via GLUT4 transporters. Even just 1 to 2 tablespoons diluted in water before your most starchy meal can make a measurable difference in your glucose response. Now, I've done a full video on this if you want to do a deeper dive. And for those who prefer a capsule form, I use the Sonia Apple Cider Balance Complex, which combines acetic acid with other supportive botanicals. Berberine. Now, this is often referred to as nature's metformin. Berberine has been shown in multiple meta-analyses to reduce HbA1c, fasting glucose, and triglycerides. While generally well tolerated, there's limited research on longer term use, and high doses may affect your gut microbiome. So I tend to see it as a short-term use rather than a forever supplement. Magnesium. Deficiency is linked with higher fasting insulin and increased risk of type 2 diabetes. So supplements like magnesium glycinate or citrate may help to improve insulin sensitivity, especially if you're not meeting your needs from food. And lastly, alpha lipoic acid. This is an antioxidant that's been studied for improving insulin sensitivity and reducing oxidative stress. It's generally safe short term, but higher dosages over longer periods can sometimes lower blood sugar too much or cause mild stomach upset. So these aren't magic bullets. They work best when layered on top of a nutrient-dense diet, regular movement, and good sleep. So one useful way to track changes in insulin sensitivity is a measure called HOMA-IR. That's short for Homeostatic Model Assessment of Insulin Resistance. It's worked out from your fasting glucose and fasting insulin levels. So why is this helpful? Well, blood sugar alone doesn't always tell the full story. You could have a normal fasting glucose but still be producing more insulin than you should to keep it there. So HOMA-IR gives a more complete picture. You can also monitor your HbA1c. Now that's your average blood glucose levels over the past 2 to 3 months. And also fasting triglycerides, which often improve alongside insulin sensitivity. Now, these aren't just numbers on a page. They're markers that you can track over time to see the real impact of your diet, exercise, and lifestyle changes. So, in summary, prioritize whole, unprocessed foods. So focus on nutrient-dense meals built from real ingredients rather than the refined or ultra-processed foods. Build your plate with balance. So aim for half of the non-starchy vegetables, a quarter of quality protein, and a quarter of the healthy carbohydrates, and include healthy fat in moderation for satiety and nutrient absorption. Move daily, especially after meals. So remember, even a 10 to 15-minute walk after your biggest meal can reduce post-meal glucose spikes by up to 50%. And manage stress. Chronic stress raises cortisol, which can increase the blood sugar levels and worsen insulin resistance. So include daily stress reduction practices like deep breathing, mindfulness, or stretching. Prioritize quality sleep. Poor sleep disrupts hormone balance and insulin sensitivity, so aim for 7 to 9 hours of restorative sleep. And consider targeted supplements, so focus on those with strong research backing, such as berberine, shown in meta-analysis to improve HbA1c, fasting glucose and triglycerides. Magnesium supports glucose metabolism and insulin action. And apple cider vinegar can help to improve the post-meal glucose control and insulin sensitivity. And track your progress. Use measurable markers like HOMA-IR, calculated from fasting insulin and glucose, HbA1c, or fasting triglycerides to see improvements beyond just weight changes. With the right tools, you can absolutely improve insulin sensitivity and protect your long-term health naturally. So if you would like to have more step-by-step guidance, then check out my Nutrition for Diabetes course, which includes meal plans, supplement strategies, and practical tips based on the exact evidence that we've covered today. I've popped the link in the description below. And for the deeper dives, please remember to check out the videos that I mentioned before. I've popped those in the description below. Okay, that's it for now. Take care and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.